Jamie here, back with another episode of Milk, Honey, and Mayhem. Thank you to everyone who's subscribed. There are almost 400 of you, and I've only been at this since February. That's amazing. Thanks to everybody who's been here from the beginning. And if you're not subscribed, what in the world you waiting on, darling? We have a great time over here. Go on and click that button. Speaking of subscribers, huge shout out to Knitting Artisan. It was so wonderful meeting you the other day, and that hug I got from the precious little boy of yours has just lifted my mood all weekend. So let's get on into today's video. All aboard! From the rhythmic chug of steam engines cutting through the rolling hills to the small towns built up along its tracks, Giles County's railroad history is a reflection of progress, prosperity, and change. It played a crucial role in connecting people, boosting the economy, and shaping much of Middle Tennessee. In today's video, we'll trace the origins of the railway here in Giles County and discover how this once vital mode of transportation still impacts our community today. So hop aboard and let's ride the rails into Giles County's past. In 1856, Thomas Martin, John Jackson, James McCallum, and Thomas Buford petitioned the General Assembly for $275,000 in order to construct a railroad between Columbia, just north of here, down to the Alabama line. The route, which was completed in 1858, included a switch and turntable, high class in those days. Thomas Martin was named president of the railroad at that time and sold stock to Giles Countyans at $25 per share. By 1860, we had our own locomotive on the track named the Pulaski, and in 1866, the Central Southern Railway merged with two other railways and became known as the Nashville-Decatur Railroad, with William Buford being sworn in as president of that railroad line. 1884 saw the depot install one of the first 3 phone lines in the county, with the other 2 at the hotel and Rainey's livery. In a clear example of having more money than sense, Colonel Wales, one of the largest investors in the railway, wanted a special stop at his home, then called Clifton Place. In order to accommodate his request, the rail line made a sharp curve several miles out of the way and up a steep grade. Nonsense. And it cost a pretty penny to get you around town, even back then. In the quiet heart of Linville, Tennessee, where time seems to move a little slower, one building stands as a silent witness to over 100 years of change: the old train depot. Once a hub of hustle and hope, where goods were loaded, letters were sent, and families reunited, this depot stands as one of the few surviving remnants of the county's railroad past. This is more than a building. It's a window to the soul of the community. Let's go inside and explore Giles County's railroad legacy. By the 1950s, passenger trains had ceased to operate here, and our old depot was completely torn down by the early 70s. While the tracks brought prosperity and connection, they also carried the potential for danger. Over the past century, Giles County has witnessed its share of train derailments and accidents, events that disrupted communities, tested emergency responses, and left lasting impressions on those who witnessed them. Let's take a look at these incidents where things went way off track. On December 7th, 1871, the Pulaski Citizen reported that around 2 p.m. one of the axles broke on a passenger train heading north. None of the passenger cars were thrown from the tracks, though 4 freight cars were toppled and over 100 yards of the track were broken and bent. On the night of April 19th, 1873, someone loosened the switch and made off with it, causing a wreck at the Pulaski Depot. The governor at the time, John Brown, offered up a reward of $250, but no one was ever caught. The worst accident took place on October 1st, 1975. Just before 1 p.m., an Amtrak train on the way from Chicago to Florida on an engine called the Floridian derailed near Frank Ewing on the old L&N tracks. Remember that steep grade with the curve that Colonel Wells had put in for the stop at his house? Well, this train hit that curve, and although they weren't speeding, the curve was just too much, and it sent 1 locomotive and 11 cars rolling down the embankment. Of the 69 people on board the train that day, 31 were injured and over $1 million in damage was done. Most passengers were in the dining car having lunch, and that's where the worst of the injuries occurred, because when the train toppled, loose dishes and furniture went flying, which resulted in all sorts of broken bones, cuts, and abrasions. Emergency units from a 50-mile radius of here all showed up to help, and the Army base up in Fort Campbell, Kentucky sent their helicopters in to help rescue the passengers. In a horrific twist of fate, the man investigating the accident suffered a fatal heart attack less than a week later. On February 1st, 1989, the Tennessee Southern Railroad began operating on the old lines that ran around town. And the Tennessee Southern Railroad is also one of only 2 railways in the country that participates in the Santa Train project, which brings presents to underprivileged rural children each holiday season. I have always wanted to ride the rails. How about you? Have you ever taken a journey by train? Let me know down there in those comments, and while you're there, go ahead and hit the like button and share me around with your friends. And don't forget, you can always email me at milkhoneyandmayhem@gmail.com, all lowercase, all one word. And if anybody wanted to buy me a coffee, I'll link my Venmo, PayPal, and Cashapp down in the description along with my email address. Thanks for spending y'all's Sunday with me. I sure appreciate it. Until next time, y'all be good.